Rev up your engine! Now, nobody wants to get ripped off when they get a car, so here's a 2016 Mazda 3 guy bought used, and we're going to show you pluses, minuses, what this car is really like, so you can decide, should I buy one or should I look at something else? So you want to compare this car. This is the later generation one. Look what they used to look like. Man, they were ugly. Zoom, zoom, they're really good looking cars. Plus Mazda, they have a pretty good eye for color. Look at that beautiful red. They do make nice cars. They're so much better than they used to be. Now, they used to have a deal with Ford. Ford trucks is Mazda trucks, rebadged Mazda trucks is Ford trucks, all that stuff. But back in those days, really, they made a lot of crap. I saw the engines blow up. See the transmissions go out all the time. But this is the Skyactiv technology engine that they have designed themselves. It has nothing to do with Ford. We'll show you under the hood. See, it's a Skyactiv technology 4-cylinder engine. We'll take this crazy crap, throw it out of the way so we can see what's actually here. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, a decent size. You get a 2.5-liter, this gets better gas mileage. And it's normally aspirated, no turbocharger. With the Skyactiv technology, it gets good gas mileage. You can average 28, 30, and you can get it up to 30s on a highway cruising at like 60 miles an hour. Not being turbocharged means a big deal with this thing. It means it can last. 2-liter non-turbos, I've never seen one of these engines blow. Change the oil every 5,000 miles with full synthetic oil, and it can last you a really long time. It's got 67,000 miles on it now. You can see just about everything on it's original. You'll see the alternator has corrosion on it because it's a Rhode Island car, and the metal will corrode. That's just how it happens. You'll see all the aluminum stuff will be corroded, but it's just superficial. And you can see, here's a reason I don't like those stupid beauty covers. Look, some mouse or something has thrown this under here. It took insulation from something and decided it was going to nest. If it's in the open, not hiding under that dumb beauty cover that I threw over there, you wouldn't have something like this. Now, he hasn't had to do anything other than oil changes, but his screen went wacky, so he took out the nav card and then it stopped. So he probably needs to update that. But as we look inside, got a beautiful interior. These Mazdas have a really nice setup. A reasonable amount of room in the back seat. Little sunroof. My favorite, a real handbrake. Not one of the electronic crappers. So we'll start her up. Starts right up. Very smooth engine, good gas mileage. I say, they can last a long time. These things are well-made cars for the money. Now, why did he buy it? Well, because he lives in Rhode Island. He had a 2010 Ford Escape with a couple 100,000 miles on it and was rusting to bits. Yes, Ford still rust to bits. Geez, you can get a 2000 Toyota. It's not rusting to bits. They learned how to coat them with zinc primer. Ford never really bothered, and they all rusted out. Well, he wanted a better commuting car. This gets ton better gas mileage. He's not going to have the problem with the rusting because Mazda makes them better than Ford in terms of rust. The modern ones don't really have a rust problem. But mainly, he wanted something that got good gas mileage that's going to last. And that didn't cost too much. His wife drives a RAV4. Yeah, if he bought another RAV4, he'd pay at least 10 grand more than what he paid for this thing. The early Mazda 3s, they were kind of small, kind of cramped. You can see what they've done here is they've maximized the interior space. A lot more room in the back, and sure, it's got a little bit smaller trunk on it, but then again, you know, it is a Mazda 3. You want more space, then you go into their bigger SUVs. Go all the way up to their 9 Series if you wanted. Well, now it's 90. Oh, everything has to be bigger, right? 9 isn't good. Now it has to be 90. But you're going to pay a lot more money for that. What do you need? Do you really need a gigantic trunk? If you don't need a gigantic trunk, why buy a gigantic trunk? Back in the day when I was young, people were driving these monstrosities that you could put 4 coffins in the trunk, and there's one guy driving the car. Did they really need all that? Of course they didn't. Gas was cheap, nobody cared that they got 5 miles a gallon. Gas is expensive now. Gets good gas mileage, can last quite some time. But he wants to see what kind of shape it's in. So, out with the computer. We got the old auto scan tool out. We turn the ignition key on, and we'll go for some diagnosis. Auto detect, look at that, it already knows. Boy, this baby's fast. We only want standalone diagnosis. So here we go. These new cars are real fast. It already read it. There's your information. Mazda 3, 2-liter automatic, 2-wheel drive. Okay. We can do a topology scan. All these checks all the communication lines. So if you have a certain problem in a certain line, you can see these are related, these aren't. You can see it's found ABS problems. We're going to check that out. You can see it's going through the system pretty fast. The ABS is the only problem, so we'll go through that. Okay, we got code for brake pedal switch A and steering wheel position sensor. The ABS light never came on while I was driving, but as you can see how good this machine is, it gives you all the possible things. Loose corroded harness, faulty circuits, faulty brake circuit, faulty controller, programming. Now this car still has the original battery, so it's probably getting a little bit weak. I would advise at some point in time change the battery. You get low voltage, you can get these things. And the wheel position sensor, loose or corroded terminals, faulty circuits, faulty control module, basically the same as the other one. So we're gonna erase these babies. Could be a meaningless setup. I'll often trip these goofball codes. Who knows, it could have been tripped ages ago before he even owned the car. You can see they're gone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the car up and we're going to look at main live data, powertrain control. And here we go. An awful lot of information here. Skyactiv technology are very complex vehicles. 0 misfire counts, all 4 you can see, no misfires. Shows you the fuel pressure. Flow sensor's good, 1.99. It's a 2 liter, 2.14, that's normal. And check it out, short-term fuel trim. Bank 1 sensor 2, 0. That's perfect. You notice the tire pressure monitoring light's on. So, with the tire pressure gauge, you'll see if one's low. 37.5. He's been driving, so it's a little high. Now check this one, 36.5. That's close enough. That's not going to trip the light. Check the right rear, 38. And we'll check the last one, 37.5. Now in reality, that's too much pressure. What we're going to do is we're going to lower it down to 32 psi for all tires and see what happens. And if the light goes off, that makes perfect sense because guess what? It's finally getting hot here. The other day it was 90. If you have too much pressure in your tires when the air's cold, that same pressure, when it gets hotter outside, makes it go up. And so you could have too much pressure. That will also trip those lights. They go high and they go low. So we're going to put 32 in them all. We'll let them all out till they're 32 each. Then we'll take it for a spin. Not particularly high up in the air, but it goes over this bump, no problems at all. We see the light's still on for the stupid tire pressure monitoring. We know the pressures are right, so there's probably something going on in that system, which you'll check when we get back. Now it's a small wheelbase car, so this is Rhode Island. A small wheelbase car in Rhode Island, going over these bumpy roads. You're gonna feel it. It's not bad. It rides a lot better than my wife's Matrix. So here we go on the road. Hot day, so we got the air conditioning on. And it's the day after the 4th of July, so I guess everybody's coming home. Oh, and Alfa Romeo, there's a rarity. You don't see them very often. At least running down the road. You see them in garages all the time. Finally, here we go. So we'll give it a little gas. Nice smooth shifts. Not a race car, but it's got plenty of acceleration. You know, it's a little car. And it gets good gas mileage. It's probably going to last a long time too. If you want the real zoom zoom, you get the bigger engines, the turbochargers, then you buy more gas and the engine wears out faster. This thing, it's probably got a long life ahead of it. Going uphill, plenty of acceleration for a little bitty car like this. And it's pretty comfortable for doing long trips too. Seats are very comfy. Nice road test, but let's see what's going on with this tire pressure monitoring system. So for the quickie tire pressure monitoring, we use a smaller autel because we can get that real fast. Go to service. We got a TPMS. Here we go, TPMS. Well, as you can see, it's off now. At some point in time, tires are changed or something. They didn't bother resetting the system. I see that all the time. It's still got the original battery, so it wasn't that the battery was changed out for the car. But realize this, all these stupid tire pressure monitoring systems, each single tire has a valve stem, has a battery, sends it to the computer to give the pressure. Those systems cost so much when they break, most people will get a piece of tape, put it over there, and say, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars fixing a stupid system. In this case, it just needed a reset. But if it ever comes back, out comes the tape. Hey, I mean, if you're going to buy this, if a Toyota costs $10,000, $15,000 more, might not be a bad decision. I personally wouldn't buy a turbocharged one because I like my cars to last forever. This is a non-turbo. Hey, it's plenty fast enough. He got it for a commuting car. It does his purpose perfectly, and he's going to find out, unlike his Ford that rusted out, this thing isn't going to rust out because they build them better than the Ford company does. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.